Hey everybody, this is Jim at SP500chart.com. It is December 27th, 2015, a little bit after 6 o'clock, and we're going to take a look at what happened in our shortened holiday week of trading that ended on Christmas Day, December 25th. I hope all of you had a wonderful Christmas, had time with your family and friends and loved ones, and I just wish you all a great year coming up. Before we talk about the chart, I need to remind you that the website and the video are for educational purposes only. Nothing stated at the site or in this video is intended to be used as investment advice. I can draw lines on charts, but you have to draw your own conclusions from your own research and make investment decisions that are suitable for your personal financial situation. I am not a licensed financial professional. I'm just a guy who draws lines on charts. So let's take a look. Okay, looking at a 30-minute chart. Guys, this is really a pretty simple thing. I think we've done a pretty good job of a couple things here. And the main thing is we have called, this is more than just a weekly review. We're going to review the last 6 weeks. We called this short-term bottom. We called this short-term bottom. And we called this short-term bottom. And that's pretty good. I feel real good about that. The question, of course, is we've had this target of 2188 that's been sitting up there for weeks, and we have not really made that really convincing run to that level yet. Instead, after we got to the point on the chart to where we knew we should be seeing that target, and that's when we got north of this line right here, we made a go, failed. Made another rally, failed. And you can see that currently we are, still underneath these last two attempts. That doesn't mean we're not going to do it. It just means it hasn't happened yet. The last 3 weeks sort of look like we've set up maybe sort of another inverted head and shoulders pattern, with this being the neckline. And we closed just under that neckline after just barely peeking up above it on our Christmas Eve trading day that was a shortened session. So looking forward to tomorrow, it'll be interesting to see what happens in relation to this line right here. And the futures currently at 615 are up just a little bit, but we really can't. I don't think we can put too much emphasis on what might be going on with the futures on a Sunday evening. And again, it's going to be another fairly slow week because it is the last week of the year, and we've got another holiday coming up. So, what am I looking at? Well, like I said, if this is an inverted head and shoulders pattern and we get over this line with a conviction, then from that line alone, or from that pattern alone, we would have a target of about 2150. If we get to 2150, then I think 2188 probably just a matter of a little bit more time. But guys, in the grand scheme of things, we are right about where we thought we would be, and that is kind of working ourselves around to the right side of this little, call it a double bottom. I'm not really comfortable with calling it that, but that's the only thing I can think to call it. And that pattern, that's double bottom right here, seems to have set itself up as a possible inverted head and shoulders pattern of sorts of a fairly large nature. It's not a very well formed pattern, and we've got to get up over this line right here with substantial conviction in order for this pattern to be confirmed. The reason, if I were looking at this and we didn't have this double bottom here and we didn't have our target of 2188 from that double bottom, I'll be honest with you, I would look at this and I would probably be a little bit more inclined to think we're topping out here. But we do have this double dip formation right here, and that looks like a pretty good indicator for that 2188. Additionally, you know, even though we had this neckline from a Head and Shoulders top, let me go to the 1 hour chart. I think we see it here. Well, hold on. Where did I lose it? Oh, here we go. It's way back here. The Head and Shoulders top that we broke down through in August. That pattern right here. Here's the neckline. We are once again over that neckline area. So I think going forward, the thing I'm watching is this line right here. And then of course this this green line is also something that we should be aware of, because that is drawn over the last two significant tops in the intermediate term chart. Here in very early November, late October, and then here again in early December. So getting over these lines of resistance here and here, and then finally here's that neckline to that larger inverted Head and Shoulders pattern. Now again, I want to remind you, this is a target that I think is worth having on the chart, and since that is beyond all of these resistance lines I just pointed out, I think I sort of like our chances that that we can do that. So let's just kind of look at things as the week unfolds. But the next order of business is going to be getting over this line of resistance right here, seeing if that is a goal that can be accomplished by bulls in this last week of 2015. If we zoom in and really look closely at the week, you can see that really I don't have that much to say about the week, other than the fact that when on in the last week weekly review, I pointed out this little tiny descending wedge pattern right here, and I mentioned that that if this pattern did what it should do, even though it's very small, that close on Friday could very well likely be our short-term low. And those ended up, I'm going to take credit for that. That ended up being prophetic, at least as it relates to what we saw in the week to come. So I think that was a very solid pickup on the chart right here. And like I said, we are now we've come up for 1, 2, 3 straight days. Christmas Eve being just sort of sideways. Let's see what we get served up with tomorrow in relation to this line right here. Since it was a short week and really we just went up and we sort of were expecting to go up, I don't think I'll need to spend much more time at this than that right there. So but this upcoming week, let's watch this line. If we get over this, then we're going to have some resistance at a number of spots right here. So right now, if there's a line above us, it's resistance, and if there's a line below us, it should be support. And let's just see how well that plays out as we start this final week of 2015. I want to thank everybody for hanging with me throughout the year, and I hope you'll stick with me through 2016 as well. We've seen some interesting things develop, and I think this chart has the potential for some very interesting developments as we move into 2016. So I can tell you one thing, we're either going to surprise a good bit to the upside, okay, with that move to, I believe, which should be about 2,400, a little bit less than 2,400, or we're going to get we're going to get hurt significantly to the downside, because that's the only two things that can happen from what we see in this chart. We are either dealing with an inverted head and shoulders pattern, which is still my preference based upon some other things in the chart, that has a target of just under 2400, or it's a really big head and shoulders top. And I'm talking big, like taking by the time we would come down to this line here, it probably would have been 2 years in the making. And if that is the case, if we do fall underneath this line right here, I think it's pretty safe to say that this 6+6.5 year bull market has run its course. So it's important for us to see getting up over some of these resistance lines, because if we come down through this, that's probably going to be the shot across the bow that actually ends up hitting the boat. So guys, there's your video for the week that ended December 24th, 2015. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this. And as always, thank you for your very, very kind support. Let's watch that little neckline, see what we do in relation to that in this week ahead. Thanks again. Take care.